Long before modern supplement shelves, wellness powders, and expensive capsules, older families relied on simple plants from the garden, pantry, and kitchen table. Some were brewed into teas, some were added to food. Some were dried, stored, and passed down through family memory. Many of them were known by grandparents who did not call them trends. They simply called them common sense. Today, we are revisiting 20 of those forgotten plants, starting with the one that probably never left your kitchen. Number 1. Garlic stands as the quiet anchor of kitchen memory. In older homes, whole heads of garlic rested in pantry corners, woven into braids or tucked beside jars of dried beans, always within reach. Its sharp scent and earthy flavor formed the base of soups, stews, and Sunday roasts, marking the difference between an ordinary meal and one layered with care. Garlic kept well through the winter, a sign of self-reliance and planning that shaped household routines. Before convenience stores and pre-minced jars, peeling and chopping garlic was a simple act repeated across generations. Even as modern life made garlic feel ordinary, its lasting presence in family recipes is a reminder that some wisdom was always close at hand, for educational and historical purposes only. In second place, ginger brings a sense of warmth and quiet resourcefulness to the old household cupboard. Before the days of supplement aisles and powdered drink mixes, families kept ginger root tucked away in small jars, sometimes dried, sometimes fresh, sometimes candied in syrup for special occasions. Sliced into tea on cold days, grated into preserves, or dropped into pickling brine, ginger moved easily between the teapot, the baking bowl, and the pantry shelf. Its spicy aroma marked winter kitchens and handwritten recipe notes, a gentle reminder of how one plant could serve so many roles without fanfare. As packaged spice blends grew more common, the careful handling of fresh ginger faded from everyday life. Today, its legacy is less about bold claims and more about the comfort and flavor it once quietly offered, for educational and historical purposes only. Third on our list, peppermint carries the memory of comfort and freshness into the old kitchen. In many households, sprigs of peppermint were gathered from the garden and set to dry in paper bags or tucked into tins, ready for a cup of tea after supper. Some families folded peppermint leaves into small sachets for drawers or carried them as a breath freshener, a quiet ritual that lingered long after the kettle cooled. The sharp, cooling scent was more than flavor. It marked a pause in the day, a moment of ease. As bottled mint oils and commercial teas took over, the tradition of harvesting and drying peppermint at home faded. Today, it remains a gentle reminder of the household wisdom that once shaped daily life, for educational and historical purposes only. Number 4. Rosemary stands as a symbol of self-reliance in the garden and kitchen. Hardy and evergreen, it flourished in home plots across the United States, Canada, the UK, and Australia, especially during the years when victory gardens shaped daily routines. Families clipped rosemary sprigs to roast with meats and potatoes, or hung them to dry for winter pantry jars, following advice found in wartime manuals and family notebooks. Its strong, pine-like aroma became a marker of home-cooked meals, and the simple act of gathering rosemary connected generations through shared, practical tradition. As pre-mixed herb blends and bottled seasonings arrived on store shelves, the need to grow and dry rosemary at home faded. Yet its presence in both garden beds and recipe cards remains a quiet testament to a time when every household herb had a place in daily life, for educational and historical purposes only. Number 5. Sage brings a sense of continuity to the family table that stretches back through generations. Dried sage leaves once-filled glass jars on pantry shelves, ready for the season's stuffing, a simmering broth, or a roast chicken on a cold evening. In kitchen notebooks and wartime herb lists, sage appears alongside rosemary and thyme, a reminder that these flavors were considered essential, not extravagant. For many, the scent of sage is tied to holiday gatherings, the memory of hands crumbling dried leaves into a bowl, or the quiet act of preparing a winter meal with what was stored from the garden. As pre-made seasoning packets became the norm, sage's role faded into the background, but its place in household tradition remains a marker of flavor, memory, and the steady rhythm of home cooking. For educational and historical purposes only. Number 6. Thyme served as the quiet backbone of the old kitchen, rarely the headline but always present in the background of soups, stews, and slow-cooked meals. In many households, sprigs of thyme were dried and tucked into glass jars, ready to be measured into winter pots when fresh herbs were scarce. Wartime kitchen manuals and family herb guides often listed thyme as essential, not for any grand claim, but for the way it supported the flavors of everyday dishes. Blended into pantry mixes or added by the pinch, thyme helped stretch simple ingredients and brought a gentle depth to broths and gravies. As ready-made seasoning blends became common, single herb jars of thyme faded from shelves. But its quiet role in household tradition remains, a reminder of how ordinary plants once shaped daily comfort. For educational and historical purposes only. Number 7. Chamomile marks a gentle shift from the busy kitchen to the quiet of evening routines. In earlier decades, families gathered chamomile flowers by hand, drying them on cloths or in paper packets before storing them in small tins. The ritual of steeping these dried blossoms for a calming cup of tea was a comfort, woven into bedtime or moments of rest, far removed from the convenience of modern tea bags. Some households infused chamomile into butter or added it to simple desserts, giving a floral note to everyday treats. The presence of loose chamomile flowers in a cupboard made the act of care feel personal, not commercial. Today, its memory lingers as a symbol of comfort and reflection, reminding us that household traditions once offered quiet reassurance, not promises of a cure. For educational and historical purposes only. Number 8. Dandelion greens mark a turning point from cultivated herbs to the first wild food many older families recognized by sight. Each spring, before gardens were ready, young dandelion leaves were gathered from lawns and fields, then folded into salads or simmered in stews, a practice carefully preserved in handwritten recipe books and diaries from the early 20th century. For generations, this humble plant offered a fresh, bitter green after winter, connecting families to the rhythms of the land. But as the post-war era ushered in new lawn care campaigns and suburban ideals, dandelion's image shifted from spring food to unwanted weed. Aggressive advertising for weed killers and the spread of manicured lawns weakened everyday foraging knowledge, pushing dandelion greens out of kitchens and family memory. Today, they stand as a quiet reminder of food wisdom shaped by season, place, and practical tradition. For educational and historical purposes only. Number 9. Nettle carries the weight of springtime memory and the quiet skill of foraging passed down through families. In earlier decades, older households watched for the first tender shoots, gathering them with care and a practiced hand. Nettle found its way into soup pots, added to broths and stocks, or dried for tea, a sign of thrift and resourcefulness rather than novelty. Archival recipe books from Britain and the United States describe nettle as a practical addition to the kitchen, valued for its abundance after winter. But as herbicides and manicured lawns became the norm, the knowledge of how to prepare and handle nettle safely faded from daily life. Today, nettle stands as a gentle reminder of a time when skill, patience, and family instruction shaped what was brought to the table, for educational and historical purposes only. Number 10. Elderberry marks a careful boundary in the old household pantry. In kitchens across the United States, Canada, the UK, and Australia, elderberries were simmered into jams, syrups, and deep purple wines, or steeped for winter tea, always cooked, never raw. Generations understood that preparation mattered. Raw elderberries and other parts of the plant can be unsafe due to natural compounds that are removed by proper cooking. This quiet caution was part of everyday tradition, woven into handwritten recipe cards and passed along by word of mouth. Elderberry's place in family memory is not as a miracle shortcut, but as a food that required knowledge, patience, and respect for its limits. Today, public health guidance reinforces what older households already practiced. Cook elderberries thoroughly and treat the plant with care. For educational and historical purposes only. Number 11. Hibiscus brings a splash of color and tartness to the memory of the old pantry shelf. Dried hibiscus flowers, sometimes called roselle or sorrel, were once kept in glass jars or paper packets, ready to steep into a bright, tangy tea or to add a crimson hue to homemade jams and desserts. Unlike elderberry, hibiscus entered the kitchen as a flavor and color tradition, not a syrup or tonic. Families prized its sharp, refreshing taste for summer drinks and its ability to enliven the simplest jelly or pudding. During wartime, Victory Garden pamphlets even encouraged households to preserve the calyxes for tea and colorings, making hibiscus a familiar sight in home cupboards across the United States, the UK, Canada, and Australia. As bottled concentrates and commercial blends took over, the practice of drying and storing hibiscus at home faded quietly, leaving behind the memory of a pantry staple that was more about pleasure and tradition than promises. For educational and historical purposes only. Number 12. Fennel once held a special place in the practical kitchen, where nearly every part of the plant found a use. The crisp bulb was roasted or braised for hearty meals, while the feathery fronds added a fresh note to salads and garnishes. Fennel seeds, dried and stored in small jars, were brewed as a gentle tea or sprinkled into bread dough and stews, giving dishes a subtle anise flavor. Many older households valued fennel for its versatility, keeping it close at hand as both a food and a pantry staple. Before imported spice mixes and commercial blends became common, families took pride in using the whole plant, adjusting recipes with what was on hand rather than reaching for a pre-mixed jar. Today, fennel stands as a quiet reminder of a time when resourcefulness and whole plant cooking shaped the rhythms of daily life, for educational and historical purposes only. Number 13. Cinnamon lingers in the memory of kitchen shelves lined with glass jars and spice tins. In older households, sticks of cinnamon bark were a pantry staple, reaching into baking bowls for puddings, breads, and the gentle warmth of mulled drinks on winter nights. The act of grating or breaking whole cinnamon was once a familiar ritual, connecting each meal to a living plant rather than a nameless powder. Stored carefully in household containers, cinnamon was both dependable and ordinary, a quiet presence in recipes passed down through family notebooks. Over time, mass-produced, pre-ground cinnamon became the default, erasing the need to recognize the bark itself. Today, its scent still signals comfort, but the story behind the spice is rarely considered. Cinnamon's place in the old pantry reminds us that everyday ingredients once carried a sense of place, season, and careful stewardship, part of household tradition, not a promise of cure, for educational and historical purposes only. Number 14. Turmeric brings the story of household plants back to the pantry shelf, but widens it into a memory shared across continents. Before the rise of capsules and supplement labels, older kitchens kept turmeric in two forms: fresh root sliced into pickles and stews, and dried powder stored in spice boxes for curries and rice. Its deep golden color was a familiar sight in home cooking, especially in families with ties to South Asian and Old World food traditions. Turmeric was never a miracle cure, but a dependable ingredient, valued for its flavor and the sense of continuity it brought to daily meals. As global trade made pre-ground turmeric easy to buy, the careful practice of grating fresh root or blending house spice mixes became less common. Today, turmeric's quiet presence in the kitchen is a reminder of a time when food, memory, and tradition were woven together, one recipe at a time. For educational and historical purposes only. Number 15. Flaxseed draws out a quiet contrast between the old pantry and today's supplement aisle. In earlier decades, whole flaxseed, often called linseed, was stirred into bread dough, simmered with oats for morning porridge, or pressed for oil in kitchens where every ingredient served a purpose beyond the label. Families in the United States, Canada, the UK, and Australia kept jars of flaxseed close at hand, not as a branded health product, but as a staple woven into daily meals and even household lighting. Linseed oil, once pressed at home, fueled lamps before electrification reached rural towns. Over time, as omega-3 capsules and health claims filled store shelves, flaxseed's role as a practical, food-based tradition faded from view. Today, its story stands as a reminder of how ordinary seeds once shaped both nourishment and self-reliance, part of household wisdom, not a marketing promise. For educational and historical purposes only. Number 16. Aloe stands apart as a plant that older households kept more for its careful boundaries than for everyday pantry use. In generations past, a pot of aloe vera often sat on a sunny windowsill, its thick leaves ready to be split open for soothing minor burns or sun-reddened skin. Families knew to use only the clear inner gel, passing down advice to avoid the yellow latex near the leaf's edge. That latex contains aloin, a compound now strictly regulated because it can irritate the digestive tract if taken internally. Over time, safety warnings and new rules limited aloe's casual use in foods or drinks, making it clear that tradition had its limits. Today, only the peeled gel from approved aloe species is allowed in food, with strict controls on aloin content. Aloe's story is a reminder that traditional plant knowledge included boundaries, caution, and respect for the difference between household wisdom and modern safety standards. For educational and historical purposes only. Number 17. Parsley returns us to the quiet routines of the old kitchen garden. In earlier decades, families often grew parsley close to the house, snipping fresh sprigs to garnish a meal, or laying them out to dry for winter soups and stews. Dried parsley filled glass jars on pantry shelves, a simple staple that was always within reach. In many homes, the act of harvesting and drying parsley was as ordinary as sweeping the floor. It was part of a rhythm that kept the kitchen supplied with familiar flavors. As pre-dried parsley became a standard item in grocery stores, the need to grow and preserve it at home quietly faded. Today, parsley's gentle presence in household memory speaks to a time when even the most humble herbs were valued for their place in daily life, not for bold claims or promises. For educational and historical purposes only. Number 18. Oregano reconnects the story to the heart of immigrant kitchens and the strong culinary identity carried across generations. In Italian and Greek households, dried oregano was tucked into pantry jars or hung in bunches, always ready for a simmering pot of sauce or a tray of roasted vegetables. The scent of oregano drifting from the stove marked family gatherings and Sunday meals, linking memory to the flavors of the old world. Unlike parsley, which often played a supporting role as a garnish, oregano was woven directly into the main dishes, a signature of heritage cooking. As bottled oils and pre-blended herb packets became common, the act of harvesting, drying, and storing oregano at home faded into the background. Yet among the classic pantry herbs, oregano remains one of the clearest survivors, a quiet bridge between ancestral traditions and the modern kitchen. For educational and historical purposes only. Number 19. Lemon balm lingers in memory as the gentle home herb, once tucked quietly into kitchen routines. Older households often brewed its soft, citrus-scented leaves as a calming tea, especially in the evening, or dried small bundles to freshen drawers and jars. Lemon balm found its way into simple desserts, folded into sugar, or layered into fruit. More as a note from a family notebook than a formal recipe. Its subtle presence was felt in the scent of a linen cupboard or the taste of a summer pudding. As the practice of drying herbs at home faded, lemon balm slipped quietly from everyday use, leaving behind the memory of hands tying fragrant stems, a tradition now nearly lost. Today, it stands as a symbol of the quiet, practical comforts that once shaped household life, for educational and historical purposes only. Number 20. Lavender gathers together the essence of old household routines, scent, tea, linens, and memory, into a single, gentle image. In earlier decades, dried lavender filled cloth sachets tucked into drawers and linen closets, its fragrance quietly marking the passage from kitchen to cupboard to bedside. Some families brewed lavender tea on restless nights, while others sprinkled the blossoms over baked goods as a delicate garnish. Lavender bundles often hung from pantry rafters or rested in small wooden boxes, a familiar sight in homes where every corner held a trace of the garden. As synthetic fragrances and convenience sprays replaced home-dried bundles, the presence of lavender faded, taking with it a broader world of plant-based wisdom. For many grandparents, plants like lavender were woven into daily life, not as separate health products, but as ordinary threads of comfort, care, and self-reliance, for educational and historical purposes only. Across all 20 entries, one pattern stands out. These plants were woven into daily life not as cures, but as practical household traditions, quiet wisdom passed from garden and pantry to memory and family. Their stories reveal a culture of self-reliance built on seasonal rhythms and careful knowledge. This film is for educational and historical purposes only. Always consult a qualified professional before using any traditional remedy. Subscribe for more rare household history.